We are live. It's Monday, September 23rd, 2019, the year of our Lord. Today's hymnal. You can, pick it.
No.
I catch you off guard?
Just a little bit.
You want to let him do it?
Here I am, Lord. Is it I, Lord?
Oh, boy.
I can hear you calling in the night.
I hate you. I hate you.
Great to be
I
here.
will
Great
go,
to be here.
Lord.
If you missed the first hour, we had a bunch of fun talking about a bunch of fun things. We've got plenty to get to this hour. Real quick, Travis, I did want to tell you about our friends at Getaway Carts, and I believe I got to talk to you guys. I think we're finally going to get over there and have a Trev U with a brand new cart that's coming, and you can check out getawaycarts.com for more information. They are hashtag Carte Blanche. Blanche? I like Blanche. And hashtag
Golden
Customize
Girls.
Without Limits. Yeah, and that other show that we realized half the cast of Golden Girls is on. Getaway Carts, getawaycarts.com. They're a local business, and you should support them. Travis, what do you feel like getting into this hour? I know Gardner had some weather-related things.
Yeah, they had the climate strike on Friday, and people were, getting the message out how they feel about climate change, man-made climate change, which is a thing.
I don't really listen to scientists. I'd like to pick more on what party I'm a part of. Thinks
Decide
with that.
that. Yeah,
Right,
makes sense.
Yeah. Because when your house is on fire, that's a donkey or an elephant's going to
That's going to help.
fix that. Yeah, go ahead.
But people were out making their voices heard, and also with signs. And there was one particular sign I think that maybe people should adopt in their messaging because
Yes.
it gets the point across.
Yes.
And it's I'm going to show the picture here. It's this sign right here. Leonardo DiCaprio's girlfriends deserve a future.
So great.
That's how it's done. I'm with Gardner on this. This is how, if you're going to protest, this is how it should be done. It's hilarious and accurate. That I saw that, and I had to immediately post it because that hits the nail on the head. Yes, if anything. Anyone else,
You know what I'm talking about.
but for anyone else, if anything, at least let's have a future for Leo's incredibly always young girlfriends.
I mean, is he doing it better than because he's going to be he's coming up on mid 40s, early 50s,
Yeah,
right?
he's coming up on mid 40s.
I'm trying to Sinatra made it a long time. Your boy, I'm sorry, I just thought of an Office clip. James Dean died when he was 26 or whatever.
Oh, it's clippy. You just start laughing.
I did. Whenever when Michael points to the painting of James Dean, and he's like, Luke Perry, And it's such a throwaway thing, and I think I would be livid if someone didn't appreciate the genius of that moment.
That is a good point.
But is Leo just doing it the best? Because for the love of God, he has to have some children at some point, right?
I think Leo's doing it the way that
God
it
intended
should
for
be.
us to do it.
Well, no, I think Clooney and DiCaprio did it the way you're notable bachelors. It's better to be at least a notable bachelor than to be the guy that
Scumbag.
everyone's they know you're with another famous person, and yet they see you in Vegas or
Right.
Out in Greece with a different woman every other weekend. So with DiCaprio, it's a good-looking guy, a phenomenal actor, A-lister. He's supposed to be out with 23, 24-year-old models, and
you know how thrilling
that's how
it
you're
would be to be them.
Oh, absolutely.
I don't know if
everybody
you saw it,
gets
Mom,
it.
I snagged Leo.
Right. I think everybody gets it. Leo's single, and he's mingling, and the girls are young, and they're happy to be around Leo. That's how the world should work. You shouldn't be Leo married to another A-list actress, and then we
get
see you leaving the club with four. Exactly.
What's Tiger's restaurant that was so funny?
Perkins.
Perkins.
Can't even get a Waffle House. See, that's the thing, and I've said this before, and I think that's why Jeter never got a ton of heat, and why Tiger would have been.
Because nobody's at home going, I'm married and I don't get to do that.
Exactly.
That's
exactly.
That's what
He's
George
single.
Brett did.
Smart.
And he explained that in an interview when I had him on a radio show once. He's like, "Yeah, I did that on purpose." He's like,
About staying single.
Yeah, while he was playing, he didn't get married until he retired.
Retired.
Which
Well, then
is
you
what
gotta-
Jeter did, because he said, he's like, look, he's like, I know me, I
Right.
know what I'd be doing.
Right.
He's like, if I'm going to marry someone and I love someone, why would I put them through that?
Exactly.
Why would I do that to
Exactly.
someone else?
Exactly. That's why I respect
friend,
it.
Had a friend going in, I'm not even going to say the sports. Had a friend going into a professional sport, getting married. His father-in-law also played a professional sport. And right before the marriage, he says the freakiest thing that ever happened. Pulled him aside and he goes, you're about to start doing this. He's like, I'm not saying this is what I did. He goes, just promise me whatever's on the road stays on the road. Never let it affect the home. And he was like, it was the most surreal, because the guy was just like, this is, and he wasn't even saying that's what he did, but he was just saying,
He's
here's my
around it at
advice.
least.
Correct.
Yeah.
That's
Well, and I don't think he was encouraging. I think he was essentially saying, like, look, I'm
he's like,
not
let's
stupid.
be adults about it.
Let's be adults about this. If you do find yourself doing something that would be considered very stupid,
Don't bring it home.
Don't bring it inside these four walls and completely destroy.
But you didn't have to worry about this guy. He's like
But to that
Yeah.
to that point, I think again, like Clooney for years, like he talked about, like I may get married or not, but I won't be out here doing my thing, and he did. Like it was almost like he was. It was like the women who would end up with George Clooney was like they had won like a midterm election. Like every 2 years, George would have somebody new and different. Mm-hmm. I would rather that be your brand than you be what we're hearing now about a guy like Ashton Kutcher when he was married to Demi Moore. He was, like
what are you reading?
he basically.
You better have sources. You're
This is
coming
based
after,
off-
you're coming after my man Chris.
This is Demi Moore
Isn't that his name?
and her
Chris?
upcoming film, upcoming book she's releasing. She basically outlined that she was kind of pressured into doing threesomes, which justified why he stepped out on the marriage, because there were moments where she didn't feel comfortable in doing those things, and because she didn't feel
so
comfortable
that it set it up for
him to use that
for
as
her to sell more books.
You son of a. You know what? I hope our women listeners kick your ass, pal. But yeah, I think Leo. I think
Our
if
damn
anybody's
comedy
living
shows
it,
are 70% women, by the way. It's like,
how about that?
not even kidding you.
But I think if you're gonna be that, I think like either that or you. And I don't even think you can. Like I know there's always been rumors about Will Smith and Jada Pinkett.
Oh, they're
having an
rumors
old
when it's
period.
Will Smith.
Well,
it's
they have-
fact when it's
well, they
Ashton
never-
Kutcher with his ex-wife who's trying to sell books.
Well, when the
got
ex-wife-
it, got it.
Oh,
got it.
You don't want to
got
believe.
it.
Look, if you want to sit up here and say you don't want to believe women, Chris, then I encourage you to say that out loud.
Did you see that? What is that? Middle ditch.
He said they're swingers. Did you see that, Thomas
But
Middleditch?
but his wife didn't know he was a swinger until.
How does his wife not know?
Oh, he didn't tell her until after they were married.
And then
But
he
no,
tried
I
to get
thought
her
they
to
were-
swing?
Yeah.
But didn't he say it saved his marriage?
I was just really way too much information.
I know
I'm
a
not
couple
sure.
that are swingers.
I think you.
Are
I
they
don't
looking?
think there's anything wrong with it. I think that aspect
never
of your
are.
life should be private. Like I think the way Will and Jada do it, I think it's now that I guess they've done it so much around the industry, or alleged to have done it like that around the
Alleged.
industry. I think that's the only reason why they have addressed it. But if that's the way you want to roll, then so be it. If you want to swing, then swing. Do you?
How would Travis react? He looked over. Will Smith's going to town on his wife.
Dude.
Jada's like, Travis, come on. You're like, hang on.
no,
That's the man.
That's Fresh
That's
Prince
the
of Bel Air.
Prince. She's like, I'm Jada. He's like, yeah.
I get that. I know. He
Yeah.
was in the Matrix. That was dope.
Wicked Wild.
I'm like, hey, freaking Wild Wild West. Jim Brett. Like, hey, Will. Yeah, wouldn't that be funny?
Yeah, choke her like you did that dog.
Would you say like he's getting jiggy with it?
I was like, yes, that's right. Get jiggy with it, Will. Ha ha. Yeah, smack my wife's ass to the beat of Summertime. Yes. Ha ha. Yeah, that would probably be disconcerting. Not gonna lie. That would probably be disturbing. But
Is that when you do one of your shutdown moves?
yeah,
Where you internally shut down?
I was like,
Would you pout?
I'm gonna go, guys.
No,
Just
you
me just
leave.
walk out with my shirt on.
No,
like,
he's like, I got Grubhub coming. I'm not going anywhere.
I got grub up.
I'm going to see the end of this.
But yeah, Yeah,
You start shouting out his bad. You start reading his bad reviewed movies on Rotten Tomatoes. You're trying to throw him off his game. Yeah.
7 pounds, huh?
That thing ain't 7. Well, maybe it is.
Man, it looks from this view, it may be. I don't know.
It's the angle.
It's the angles I'm seeing here.
If ever we were to have an animated, like where you take the audio and somebody makes a cartoon of it, like I think we need to contact Adam Birtles to, like, this is that conversation.
Yeah, this would be it.
Smack my ass to the beat of
Summertime.
Smack my wife's ass to the beat of
Summertime.
summertime.
Look at Will. He's smacking my wife's ass in summertime. Summer.
You got a Will Smith?
No,
I don't think it'd be that difficult if you practice it.
What's up, y'all? Is Will? I don't know. Here come the men in black.
D. Ray Davis did it. By the way, big shout out to D. Ray Davis. He did 9 shows.
Sold
at
every single one of. Well, at least I know he sold out his Sunday
That's
shows because his brother
insane.
tried to get in on that.
Oh, you're upset? Hey, Travis, this year we're going back to Soulard Oktoberfest. Did you know that?
I am. Yes, now I do.
We will be hosting Soulard. We signed off on it a little while
Found out
ago.
right now.
You can check out all the information. There's music and entertainment. One of the bands, remember them? They were on The Simpsons. That's remember that? No?
Yeah.
Okay. One of the bands last year was on The Simpsons. They're back. Authentic German food available for purchase. There's a wine garden, multiple beer stands. You can get Steins there. Soulard-Oktoberfest.com for Soulard's Oktoberfest. That's the official one, October 11th and 12th. We will be emceeing that event, and we're looking forward to it. Only 18 days until that rocks out. So, Gardner, get your lederhosen ordered now.
Is your one guy gonna be back too?
Which guy? The guy that started the fight in the middle of the Stein holding
From
competition?
the Two Fox.
That was fun. Oh, Pertzborn.
Yeah.
He is. He's back. He absolutely is.
Ah.
Brave
Delightful gentleman.
Brave Combo is the band I was thinking of. They're a polka band, and they've been on The Simpsons. Literally, they've been on The Simpsons, which is amazing. So, looking forward to that.
I'll go down and
Johnny
request,
Johnny Pert's nice.
In Heaven There Is No Beer by the Polka Band.
Okay.
It's my favorite polka.
What about, do we need to get Pertzborn in here?
You got to.
We could. It'll be difficult though because he does the morning show.
Well, we have the ability to record
We do.
ahead of time.
We do.
So, let's get it on.
Boys and girls.
Like
over
Will did with your wife.
Hey, but I would be slightly honored. I mean, it's Will Smith. I mean, but if you think about it, like if you are gonna have your wife, like even if you weren't swingers and you didn't have an open marriage, if your wife were to cheat on you,
Oh, that, yeah.
you want Will Smith. You want Will Smith the actor. You don't want like Will Smith the janitor down at Quick Trip.
Yeah. That you can't do nothing.
Yeah.
You're like, well,
Yeah, Will Smith the actor, but he has to play a role. If it's my wife, he has to
you've
play.
thought about this.
He has to play the role of Chris Gardner from The Pursuit of Happiness
Got it.
that he played as
And
well.
then she says it's technically not cheating.
So yeah,
Yeah.
so he could actually play Black Chris Gardner
Why has it got to be? Oh,
'Cause
he
he's
is.
black.
Yeah.
I hate him so much.
No, I mean it's
No,
just
I think that's just perfect.
for me. If we're going with this scenario here, I mean, it makes sense, doesn't it?
It does. It absolutely
He has to
does.
cry a little.
um,
Now transition,
Yeah,
Travis.
there
yeah,
you go.
that I can't. I'm like, I have nothing. Speaking of Will Smith invading my future wife, folks went out to Area 51 hoping for an invasion of their home.
Oh,
Not much
okay.
of one,
That's
nerds.
not bad.
it
There'll be
was
more-
not much of one.
Here, watch this. Watch. I'll also transition. There'll be more of an invasion at Flyover Comedy Festival with Target Practice Thursday, November 7th. Yeah, that's right. We're part of that. Look at that. You ever think we'd be on the same poster as Kyle Kinane, Sashir Zamata, Joel Kim Booster, Ian Edwards?
Absolutely.
Huh? Get tickets. Let's sell it out.
No doubt.
Atomic Cowboy Bootleg. It's going to be fun.
You're right, Chris. Not a ton of people participated in what many thought was going to be an extravaganza of an event. The Area 51 raid only brought out 150 people, despite 2 million people saying they were going to be there. Isn't that typical? But that should break down like how
This is where
difficult
we
it is
are.
to get people to your events.
And also,
2 million people RSVP'd, only
Within
150 showed up. That's why it's hard,
Yeah.
folks.
What am I gonna do with all these hot dogs?
you know, I have alien-shaped Rice Krispie treats, and not one of them got eaten. Now what do you do too? Because this just shows how uneventful it is because of the Tom DeLonge thing, and then the Navy acknowledging that aliens exist.
Yeah.
In a way, I guess. But how do we feel about this? Do we need to
said the-
revisit it? Like, do they do one next year?
It said
Do
the
they cancel
festival
it?
attracted 1,500 people to neighboring towns,
That's not
but
many
only
people.
150 of them traveled within the site of Area 51, and only 75 of them actually approached the gate. 2 individuals were detained by the local sheriff's department. It's unclear who was detained and why, although one woman allegedly attempted to duck under the gates, and a man was allegedly publicly urinating in the vicinity.
Well, of course.
So it's just
what
a
are you gonna
drunk
do? Yeah.
Some of the attendees showed up at the gates as early as 3 a.m. They ended up adhering to the warnings, apparently, according to the U.S. militaries. They issued the lethal force warning would be used if necessary to keep people from entering Area 51.
Yeah, because the plan was, look, they can't stop all of us, so they were willing for casualties to be part of this deal. But 2 million people is different than 75 at the gate.
Mm-hmm.
So you could probably stop 75 people.
You should be able. You would hope the United
Generally.
States military
Yeah.
can stop 75
And
unarmed
maybe people also realized they were at the wrong location as well.
That is
Right.
also very true. You have made that case several
I
times.
thought I
my
saw
friend.
that maybe the military threatened to troll in a way. I don't know how. Well, I do know how, but it seemed as though they were going to like fly a stealth bomber over or something like that.
Like, did they pay him like as an event
No,
fee?
I think
Or no?
it's, I think
as
it's
a show
probably,
of force.
Yeah, just as a.
Man, you could just fly a drone over those nerds and they'd lose it. Like that, you don't have to do that.
It's a problem. You can't tell anymore. These
Yeah,
drones.
That's true. You ever see that? You're like, wow, that plane's really low. Oh no, that's just a drone.
I
thought
remember
it was
driving through Forest Park at night. Thought I saw a UFO. No, it was a drone. I pulled over even. I was like, oh my God,
They're here for me.
finally. Oh no,
Not the case.
just a drone.
Okay. Would you attend an Area 51 storming?
Maybe for the camaraderie.
Okay.
I don't think you're going to accomplish anything, nor were you with this event. But maybe getting people, like-minded people, together. Maybe more of it could be a think tank kind of deal. Maybe it sounds like it could be a convention once a year, if
Right.
there's enough room. But
I went to a Blues Brews Barbecue festival over the weekend. There were way more people than went to Area 51. It was packed. There were thousands of people walking around, behaving, being nice, watching great music. No aliens sighted.
Did you go to Barbecue Village?
I did. I strolled through. There's a lot
You didn't
going
have,
on.
wait, you didn't have any?
Oh yeah. yeah.
Okay, I'm about to say, man, what the hell is your problem? Did you
Yeah.
get some leftovers for Chris and I?
Oh no. They were very disappointed. You told them you'd come and didn't. You were asked about several times.
Well, most
Oh.
women are too. If you know what I mean. No high five anybody.
Yeah.
Gardner, high five in the camera. High five.
It was
hold on.
both.
There you go.
There you go, guys. Both troubling and surprising the amount of people that stop me like, oh, I watch all the time. And I'm, why the fuck don't you share the thing?
Organic growth.
Did you tell
Yeah.
them about organic growth?
I did, but a lot of people were asking where you guys were, but it was a great time. They did a wonderful
I
job.
tried to
Marquise
get
Knox,
there.
boy, and
It
our
was
friends
good
at Funky
musically?
Butt. Oh my God.
How was Carl's?
Carly
Lawrence?
did wonderfully. Everybody was very excited, and she did a very good job. Her Barb was a big hit.
I bet.
Her dog went up on stage with her several times. Everybody was very happy to have her there. Several people remembered her or have heard her on here and the Rizzuto show. So she was a commodity.
I saw
Good job.
All
JPD
weekend.
posting pictures.
Oh, did
Yeah,
I?
absolutely. Yeah. Why
Huh?
you say it like that?
I ain't say it like a nothing. I'm just saying she was.
Why'd you say it like that, Gardner?
I'm just saying JPD.
Or are you just saying she was there
Baby girl.
covering the journalism?
Was she in
All
Was she
right,
in
damn it.
Barbecue Village?
No.
Because you know what?
She came and watched
Had somebody
Funky Butt
told
and
me
left.
that, I would have got some of that sauce. Hey, baby girl. JPD, how you doing today? Hope you're having a great Monday. Take care of yourself, baby girl. I'll see you soon. Wink.
I hope Lair Dog punches you in the throat.
Love you, Lair Dog.
Here's how you know Birch and I were on this. I noticed the same damn thing. Huge crowd, no fights, by the way.
Right.
2 days, which I was a little worried about. My
Uh-huh.
hometown. Thought maybe.
Somebody already got a little frisky.
Thought so.
Certainly.
No in
I
the
was
crowd.
like, this. Everybody was very well behaved, and there were like all the food ran out from the vendors before dinner time, which means they didn't think it was going to be that big, like the
Yeah.
vendors didn't. So they were kicking themselves in the foot a little bit. But our friend Tito, remember him from Flat Branch? He's a co-owner of a thing called Beer Outside. They sold so much beer. But this is a great point. Birch saying, amazing, huge crowd. End of the night, not a single piece of trash on the ground. I was mesmerized by that.
Clean.
I was like, what is happening here? Did we morph into Tokyo? Like, what is going on here that people respected where they were at enough to actually put the trash in the trash
I
cans?
applaud you, the people of Murphy Settlement.
They did a good job. And everybody that I ran into was like, the long-standing town event is called Country Days.
Okay.
And it'll bring out some folks.
Yeah, it
It's
does.
free, and some of the clientele maybe from surrounding burned-out mine towns from 40 minutes away from Farmington. That's their Disneyland for the year. So there's been a little bit more of a change, and everybody was very happy that it was not Country Days.
So Country Days is at a different time?
It is. It's the first weekend of June every year, and it does. And I was kind of like, hey, quit picking on Country Days. That's a good time. And then like three heroin zombies kind of wandered through, very obviously like stuck out like sore thumbs, and I was like, okay, I get it. I don't want those guys around here either. I felt bad. I'm like, that's somebody's kid, but it's definitely like, you don't want a bunch of those people hanging
The one
around.
I would go to everyone.
Have you seen people on heroin walking through a massive crowd? Or something. It's out of a
I've had
movie.
somebody tried to sell me heroin.
It's out of
recently.
a movie. It's like they're moving fast, but they look like they're floating, kind of, because the way
Yeah.
their body's tilted. It was awkward. And that's allegedly. I don't know if those people were. They were something going on. But like, if I remember 3 out of a whole weekend of thousands upon thousands of people, that's a hell of an event.
What were they asking about Travis?
Where the hell is he?
I was-
I was even told to take photos of people making sad faces.
I tried to get on the Metrolink to get on down to Farmington, and it did not keep going.
Stopped at Shrewsbury?
I got to the Casino Queen, and I realized, oh
this
shoot,
ain't going there.
this ain't
Yeah.
hitting where I'm trying to. So I tried to find another train, and it just wasn't working for me logistically. But I did make an effort, boys and girls. If Uber wasn't $2,000 for the trip, I would have absolutely been down there sooner. But,
I couldn't believe it. The police that were even there, like, they looked like they were bored, which is the best way to be if you're like doing
It's
crowd
like the
control.
Frontenac Police Department.
Yeah, they're just like hanging out, and
Waiting
even at
for
the
a
end of the night, they're
bush.
like,
Yep.
"If you guys don't mind, let's get out of the street." Like, it wasn't like, "Get your fucking ass out of here." It was like, you get it. So big shout out to them. They killed it.
good
It was a
time.
Good time.
Congratulations for the fun event. Way to go, guys.
Sorry I missed it.
Yeah, Gardner
I
and
would like to have my scooter, Lair Dog showing me around.
Oh, there were people scooting through the event. They were like little kids. I was like,
Oh.
yeah,
somebody's
like the
gonna
little
get hurt.
scooters. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fun.
There was a magician and
Oh.
the black sheep and in the kids area. Black sheep and I were kind of doing some backstory on when he was in the.
Did he bring his incredibly adorable, beautiful twins?
Yes, they were there. A lot of kids
Damn.
there.
Now if you told me that, I would have showed up.
Really? The Metrolink doesn't go there. We got to get the Metrolink to Chesterfield first.
That's true.
They're creating some jobs out that way, so it only makes sense to have the Metrolink go through Town and Country and Chesterfield now. Probably Ladue as well. That's my next goal.
Okay.
Do we?
That and to rename Lindbergh Boulevard because he's an anti-Semite. Or was an anti-Semite.
That's something we probably should look at.
Lindbergh High School, too.
I don't think it's happening.
Can I
does
get
it
that
always
one going?
happen?
Can I get that one going?
Oh man,
I mean, there's
you're gonna be the Hannibal Buress.
he's
to,
like a white
to,
nationalist, right?
to Bill Cosby. Oh, I mean, what is even white national? He's like a sympathizer to Nazis.
Yeah, I
like,
mean-
it wasn't even.
We gotta pick our spots because like
I think that one's pretty legit. If
Do you know
we're
how
not
much
gonna, why don't we
signage they're
talk
gonna
about
have
that?
to change?
we're not gonna get rid of. Well,
I know it's
And
gonna
it was
cost
cool
a lot of
'cause
money.
he was an airplane guy. That's fun, right? They're called the Flyers. Like, son of a gun.
But we don't even talk about it.
It's like the John Wayne Airport. It's just one of those things where we're just like it's
Yeah.
too
Just
far
pops up
gone.
every 3
It's
years.
Like, yeah, I was like, we kind of just gotta
Yeah.
keep it moving. I mean, if it was gonna happen, it was gonna happen. If they was gonna get rid of Lindbergh Boulevard, they should have gotten rid of it by now. With John Wayne Airport, we knew who John Wayne was for decades.
No,
and I
that's
don't-
it. Now I'm going all in.
Okay.
I gotta figure out what to rename it though.
Not to take away from your cancel culture, but we are getting
I'm just trying to cancel a Nazi sympathizer. That's all.
so we're getting behind the scenes information. So him and I were we were kind of like giving a backstory, like the magicians, like he's sitting in this hot like tent after he just performed, and I'm voicing
Did
what
he
I thought
levitate?
his.
Did he levitate
Nah,
at
I
all?
didn't see that part, but I'm voicing what I thought his inner monologue was. He's like, I did Reno, Nevada in 1997, and here I am sweating my ass off for these kids in Farmington, Missouri.
I was at MagCon.
Right? I was Magic before Chris Angel even made it to the big screen. But
I was him until all my hair fell out.
we have inside information that he was supposed to be walking around doing street magic and he didn't, and the organizers were disappointed.
So he should have been
So
levitating.
he should have been, right? He didn't make one of my craft brews disappear.
He should have been
jackass.
walking around freaking black people out with street magic.
We love to be freaked out by street magic.
I'm just like pointing to the crew. I'm like, them. Go to them. Should be
That's why
reaction.
They
people
would have
probably wanted
beat
me
him
to,
up.
That's why people probably really wanted me to come, so they can just see my reaction to the magic.
street
Because they
magic.
know how I react to street magic.
a black
They know how
person.
we react to street magic. We all
That's it.
99.8%
Hell no,
of
that's a
us
demon
grew up.
dog.
Exactly. Like half of us, like more than half of us, grew up in the church, and the only person we know to levitate was Jesus. And if you out here levitating, that's a game changer.
No, you a demon dog. You gotta go.
I pulled a rabbit out of a hat. It's not real. Stop trying to beat me up.
No, you a demon dog. You gotta go.
Start throwing blessed oil on them,
Well,
like
that's
holy
a-
water.
I'm
Like,
surprised-
stop it, magician
I'm
man.
surprised we haven't seen a video of just a magician getting beat up by a black person
yeah.
for doing street magic.
Well,
in
if
front of him.
he'd wash his hands to keep Satan away, maybe that's how it would work.
No, you a demon dog. You gotta go.
True.
Running through the house with a pickle in his mouth,
What kind of tricks was he doing?
misbehaving, huh?
What kind of tricks was he doing?
Illusions,
Michael.
He
Tricks are something whores do for money.
he pulled like 3 folks over and he made their student debt disappear. It was a big deal. Yeah.
Oh, so
Yeah.
Bernie Sanders was
Right.
your.
That's right. Socialist magician. That's how it went. Did you guys see Gardner? I know you're a huge fan of Mizzou football. How do I feel about this? So they're undefeated in the SEC right now. They've been
1-0.
favorites. They've been favorites in every game, but I don't care if they run the table the rest of the year. They lost to Wyoming. I'm still chapped.
Well, they got
about that.
Florida on the schedule. If they beat Florida, I mean, that can make up for the Wyoming loss. Florida's right now
You
ranked
think?
9th in the country, so you would think by the time maybe if Florida continues to play the way that they're playing and Mizzou plays them and beats them, you think Mizzou probably is beating a 6th or 7th ranked team in the country, and if that would be the biggest win in about some years for the Mizzou football program, and obviously the biggest win in Barry Odom's career. So they can still run the table, and I'll be fine with the Wyoming loss if they are able, because again, like you said, you'll beat Florida and Georgia. And Georgia's currently, I think, the number
have a line?
3 team in the country right now. So if you get those 2 wins, then yeah,
They'll
I
be-
would be over it.
Well,
Whoa.
no, that would be hilarious if they ran the table, though.
It would be
It would
hilarious.
be.
Because they couldn't be in the SEC championship game, too, as it stands right now.
Do you think that could change? Careful on the violations front, pal.
Oh, yeah.
If we want to start chipping away at that. I didn't even
I'm
want to
just-
talk to you about that.
Why not? I talked to everyone
I
about
worry about you. I worry about your reaction.
They got good lawyers. It'll be okay.
KU, by the way. That's what we're
Yeah,
talking about.
I know. I'm just saying they got
Sizing
good
them up.
lawyers.
If you couldn't get UNC for 18
The
years
blue bloods
of
are hard to
academic
get. The
fraud,
blue bloods are hard to get. I will say that. But no, that's
plus
the only
if you
thing.
try, then they will.
Well, to your point,
Fight back.
it is what's keeping me from being overly excited about what this team can do, because as much of scum as they are, the rules are that the Mizzou can't play in a bowl game right now, a postseason play. And,
That should change.
and hopefully that will change. And until it's officially announced, I can't really get too excited about this season. But I'm happy to see that Mizzou went out this past weekend and actually beat South Carolina, who's just been a pain in our ass since Mizzou's joined the SEC. Even when Mizzou has been incredibly good, South Carolina's always stubs our toe. And so for this team to go out there, Barry Odom actually did what Mizzou hired him to do and called a great game defensively, and the Tigers went out and played as well as I've seen them in quite some time. And it's good to win games you're supposed to. We've seen in years past, especially with Odom, in the last 2 years
You have-
when they have teams in front of them they're supposed to be early in the season.
Like Wyoming?
Yep. They don't always beat them. And so that was great to see. I still wish people would stop knocking the fan base for not being there just yet. I think people are showing up to these games, but at the same
Why?
time,
I mean, they're even selling beer now.
they're selling beer. Folks are coming around to it. They're coming around to this Tiger program. That's good. That's good enough. Everybody just needs to relax. I look at other stadiums around college football, and if you're not Bama, you're not Clemson, you're not LSU, not everyone is selling out their venue. I saw Wisconsin and Michigan this weekend. That wasn't sold out. So everybody just needs to kind of pump the brakes and let the fans come back to the program, and I think they will once they continue to win more consistently. So it was a good win for the Tigers. It would have been
It would be interesting to see if, like, the attendance would be the same if they would have beat Wyoming. Like, is it other factors? Like, yeah, it kind of
Yes.
lets you know if it's other factors involved.
I definitely think it's always other factors.
Yeah, it's just I mean, it might still just be the same if they're undefeated right now. You know what I mean?
Very possibly.
But without, I mean, we can't answer that question.
Right. I think when you're talking about college students, of course, being a part of the majority of the folks that go to these games, you have to take into account what it means again to be a college student. Like, yeah, like outside of the financial means, like it's also my weekend, and I have to, study and do things. Like I'm also a student here, so let's relax. This isn't like going down to Busch Stadium. The majority of the people who go to these games are, working professionals. These are still students who have important obligations to get to. They can't always take over half their Saturday to commit it to the football program. Relax. Especially since you're not paying the classmates anyway. What the hell keeps putting more money in the pocket of a school?
Well, at least maybe they're going out to watch the game with friends, going to a bar and helping that economy.
Thank you. I was going to bring that up
Well,
7
that's a good point.
times
That's a good point.
throughout. So, yeah.
Maybe something like that's happening.
I just, I don't know. I don't want to be a baby about it, but just that loss, I'm just going to.
It's gonna
It
itch
itches at me more than the BS with the NCAA.
You're still smarting.
It's still smart.
It was just so fixable.
I think, because it makes me recall a few years ago where Mizzou, I think, ended up having 2 losses, but they could have had just one, and they would have been in a prime BCS bowl opportunity. But that second loss came against a South Carolina team that had no business beating Mizzou.
Yeah.
It's every year that the Tigers lose a game they had no business losing, that at the end of the year you look back on and go, holy hell, this could have been a monumental season
Well, and then
if it
Wyoming
wasn't for that loss.
You see what they're capable of
Right.
here recently, especially with run defense.
Yeah,
and stuff
especially with
like
the run
that.
defense.
And you see the Wyoming game, and you're like,
How?
this was lack of preparation.
Yes.
Or something like this was, and Chris is right. This is not a team being better than you. That's
Right.
why it hurts.
Right.
It's how do we show up or not show up like this when you can see obviously what they're capable of in the following weeks. That's frustrating, and it puts a damper on it when it happens immediately.
And I think that's why a lot of people were frustrated with Odom and the program, is because we've gone through it the past 2 seasons. Like, I get the
Stop giving us hope and then shitting on it right away.
Thank you. And stop with the rah, rah, rah. Stop with these guys are going to fight for me and they're fighting for their coach. I'm glad that's the case.
Stop having to fight.
Thank you. That's it. That's all we're saying. That's all we're saying. Like,
You know what?
shouldn't have to
What
get
makes fights easier in these situations? Winning.
But you shouldn't have to get a coach to get in front of the media every year, doing the Tim Tebow thing, pounding the desk and quoting scripture and telling
but
them.
I don't even listen to that anymore.
Yeah, me
Plus,
neither.
college
It's-
football coaches are full of shit.
Yeah, they're always full of
Yeah.
shit. They're the biggest.
Yeah, I just don't even pay
Hucksters.
attention.
I don't even get, they are. They really are. I did want to get to this story quickly, and because I wanted to, because we talked. I remember when it happened, and my first thought was it's got to be something physical. And Calvin Johnson, number 1 wide receiver in all the NFL for several years, and then he abruptly retired. I think a year or 2 after.
Detroit will do that to a man.
Yeah, definitely. But he abruptly retired in the middle of a very lucrative contract, and people were wondering, well, why the hell would you walk away from that? And we discovered he had 9 concussions. Did you see the story in
Yeah.
Sports Illustrated? And his hands look like it has been like through a blender.
Yeah.
And
It's like Torrey Holt's hand.
Yeah, Torrey Holt's hands. You've seen Torrey's hands. They are very troubling. He's happy to show him in front of the camera. And then not only did he mention that in the story, but he talked about how he smoked the marijuana after each game because he did not want to be addicted on opioids and pills. And I think, again, I think we're at a point where there are some stories, like there are so many stories that we read every day that raise a ton of red flags. But I think this, as far as sports, should be one of the biggest red flags currently going up, because if you know one of the most elite athletes on the planet was doing this behind the scenes, and he even alluded to how the Detroit Lions suggested that he massage his words when it came to his concussions. So if we know this exists when it comes to a marquee player like Calvin Johnson, well, you would have to believe what that looks like on lower levels and with lesser players. And I think that's a troubling trend. I think we're like, and I think we're seeing it. We talked about this last week with Randy Carricker, is that like a lot of parents are not pushing their kids out there to play contact sports. And this is the reason for it. And for a guy to have at least a concussion a year, 9 concussions, like that is,
Yeah, that's bad.
that's bad. And so you're thinking Tom Brady's got to be on 10 or 12. You got to think someone like an Aaron Rodgers is on
Diagnosed.
4 or 5. Yeah, diagnosed. Thank you,
Yeah.
Chris. Yeah. So I don't know. I saw that article and I knew it was going to be tough, because I was a huge fan of Calvin Johnson, but the way he just speaks about it, he's just very methodical. He's like, I don't have any regrets, but let's be very clear. I walked away from this game because it was destroying my mind. It was destroying my body. And the organization that I play for ultimately was like, if you can get around it, if you don't have to truly own up to it, that'd be great.
Yeah.
So again, and this brings me back full circle to this point, and I'm going to bring college back into it. This is why I think those guys should be getting paid. And I think if anything, how can you argue that? Like, again, you know that these guys on a college level are going to at least get 2 concussions on again, to Chris's point, diagnosed. So why wouldn't you want 19, 20, 21-year-olds who are doing this to their body that's going to have long-term effects? Why wouldn't you want money in their pocket so they can at least have something to show for it?
I guess my thing is like, oh, they're going to change this, change that. It's like, can we stop with the thing where we like pretend that this is I get the sentiment of some people, but you're willfully being ignorant to the people that are profiting and cheating at
very
this. And
true.
I'm not even picking on KU just because they're obviously
Pieces of shit.
in the crosshairs.
I mean,
on this
crosshairs
one.
on this one. Sorry.
But it's it is
Arizona
and again too, like, oh, you couldn't do it, it'd be super hard, you have to do all this. Well, then figure it out, because right now
it's just going to be harder and I'll use this as an example real quick, for the NCAA to punish schools like that when you're giving players,
it's just so
because
obvious.
it just looks dumb now.
Yeah.
And look, you don't even have to pay players. You just allow them to make some money. That's
right.
all you really have to do.
Yeah.
You can say that, and that's
Yeah.
a start at
That's a
least, and go
start.
from there.
Go from there.
And that's fine. The NCAA should only really, to me, what should separate amateur sports and, let's say, pro sports is the academic parts.
Right.
If the NCAA wants to get involved with penalizing schools for academic issues,
Yes.
okay, that's fine.
Yes.
But the rest of it,
Yes.
you've shown that you have no consistency. You really don't know what you're doing.
And you don't have any credibility. You don't have a foot to
Yeah,
stand
and
on to
that's
be able to
so-
say that.
So why get involved?
Yes,
See, that's
agreed.
why, like, look, KU's going to get hit with something,
Right.
but I don't know if it'll stick, just because it's just going to, by the time we get there, it's happening quickly, too. This just looks so dumb on the NCAA's part.
Yes.
And so I don't get why you're going to continue. And, I mean, look, the FBI didn't turn over any, or the prosecutors didn't turn over any of the evidence they used in those trials.
Right.
And they really didn't get anything accomplished.
Right.
And that's the prosecutors and FBI.
Right.
So if you really want to go to court, you could, and really challenge something.
Right.
You could really challenge it here if you want to. But I mean, yeah. Why not allow a player to make to make money on.
And the player's name's escaping me right now, but we talked about it earlier
Ed O'Bannon.
this year. Well, we've had Ed O'Bannon on the show, and he talked about it. I mean, if it wasn't for Ed O'Bannon, I don't know how far along this conversation would be. But we talked about it earlier this year about one of the quarterbacks who was getting married. One of the football players was getting married, and he had to shut down his registry page
Yeah.
because he could. Like, that's the kind of, to Gardner's point, that's the kind of shit we're talking about.
You
Why
get a
does the
meal here
NCAA
and there, it's
like,
okay.
it's okay. And
You
or
get a
even,
tattoo for free. It's
or
okay.
even with players, I've heard things like even at banquets, I want to say they're not even allowed to take that food home because that would count as a gift.
Yeah.
Like, so it's like, see,
Gift.
no, damn it. But see, but it's just,
Depends on if you invented it.
but it is frustrating to like those kind of things, and it just like to Gardner just said, a meal, man, a meal to eat.
Stop trying to be
to eat, man?
sanctimonious about amateur.
To
Hold on,
eat
but
food,
the
to
thing
have
was,
something
like-
in your belly, man. You're 18, 19-year-old. You're telling me as a people, if you work for the NCAA, you've been to college. You telling me I can't? Somebody want to give me a to-go meal on a Friday night? Because
No, it's fucking
come
dumb.
on,
But
man.
if
What are
they
we
were-
talking about here?
If they were an all-encompassing, morally sound organization, that would be one thing.
It'd be
in
one
my
thing.
opinion, where it's
But
like,
you
no,
have
no,
a
this is how it's
notori-
ran.
right. Mhm.
But it's like, well, we're going on like 100 years of this being
They,
corrupt.
they were
Yes.
born. The NCAA was born out of corruption.
Yes.
It was born out of corruption, and corruption has remained. So you don't get to do that when you're making billions of dollars off people.
I was
either.
born in the corruption.
Yeah. So it's okay.
That's how it sounds. Yeah. So that's how it's working out, everybody. And I think we've solved everything
Good,
as well.
good
Would you
stuff.
agree? I did see this Rams and Chargers reportedly,
Yeah.
surprise, surprise, feuding over their stadium lease. That means Dean Spanos, the owner of the Chargers, who ripped them out of San Diego and decided to be roommates with Stanley Kroenke in Los Angeles. Fred Rogan at Fred NBCLA reporting multiple sources confirm there's friction in the Rams Chargers Inglewood Stadium relationship, and the Chargers may not be pulling their share. This is a serious issue.
Yes.
The story Monday at noon on AM 570 LA Sports. Welcome to the Kroenke Show.
Yep.
Number one.
Yep.
Everybody saw this coming.
Yep.
No one gives two shits about the Chargers playing in Los Angeles.
Nope.
Only reason it worked out for the Rams is because they did turn it around and they had a good run and they did some things to make sense of it. But San Diego is too close to Los Angeles.
Yep.
It's the Chiefs' move here, and it's like, well, but you got to think there's two pro teams there. There's not. Either way, this is not working out the way they'd hoped,
Nope.
but we all saw this coming.
Yeah, they're not selling as many PSLs as they projected. Surprise, surprise. And to the points that Chris just made, fans just don't give a shit about San Diego Charger football. And I think it's not even a matter if they were winning or losing. I think at the end of the day, folks were already timid on football to begin with, especially pro football. I think, like I said, the big football team in town has been and continues to be USC. Even with the Rams' recent success at the Super Bowl, they still, I think people are coming around to it because you got a good-looking coach, you got a nice quarterback, and they are consistently winning with one of the best defenses in the league. But I think everybody saw this coming. The Spanos, everyone thought it was stupid of him to leave San Diego. People were telling him he shouldn't have done it. He felt pressure by other owners in the league to join up with the Rams to make this work. Kroenke doesn't care for the Chargers being there. In fact, for him, this works beautifully. He doesn't care to share that stadium with the Chargers. He wants that to himself. So this is a situation where a lot of this is Goodell and the owners doing. It's an embarrassing look. You can't run back to San Diego. I don't know how they make this work in Los Angeles. It's going to probably mean some of
I
the
think
owners.
you can go back to San Diego.
Good luck. I don't know how that would work.
St. Louis would take them tomorrow.
Oh, well, yeah, we would, but I don't think that's an option at all. But you look at it from a 40,000-foot view.
Keep them away from here.
Yeah, I don't think that happens. I don't think they're.
Keep the NFL as a whole
I think
away
the
from here.
I think the
Things
owners
are going just fine.
I think the owners are going to have
need
to, the NFL owners who were, again, responsible for essentially forcing Spanos to work with Kroenke, they're going to have to cut a couple checks to make up that difference. The NFL is going to have to come out of pocket for this. They're going to have to essentially pay some of the difference that the Chargers agreed to. They can't have egg on their face after they didn't set up here. They're in the middle of a lawsuit right now, and they're getting their ass kicked by the city of St. Louis in these lawsuits. They can't then turn around and go, well, yeah, go back to San Diego. Like, so they're going to have to make it work, and it's just going to hurt their bottom line ultimately because they promised. They said, oh, we're going to get around. I think they're responsible for like $400 million, and they're not even around $100 million raised for their portion of the stadium.
It looks like their projections they had were at $400 million for PSL.
Okay.
This is the Chargers.
Okay.
They had to lower the price because they weren't finding any buyers, and so now their projections are at $150 million. So they've cut $250 million
And they haven't
off
even
of their projection.
and they haven't even filled up StubHub,
Yeah, but
which is a soccer stadium.
yeah, I don't know. I mean, that's probably not until you really get that stadium. You really don't know.
But it isn't as if people in Southern California right now are like, woo, that Phillip Rivers.
Yeah.
Woo, Chargers. Like, people they don't give a shit.
But
so
would you agree that if they announced they were trying to work something out with St. Louis, that we as a city would overwhelmingly, I should say the county would be more involved, overwhelmingly be like, I mean, we worked something out. I
yes,
think
there's
that's how
no
it
doubt.
go.
There's no doubt. There's no doubt.
Because what
I don't
you're
think it'd be
saying
wise.
is the
Now, to
stronger
Gardner's
thing.
look on his face, I agree with Gardner's face in that you're right. I don't think you should ever even entertain.
Anybody that entertains that should be fired from their job immediately. Any public official that would entertain that should be let go, should quit, should resign.
I can't argue with that.
Hmm.
I honestly can't argue with
And
that.
if they
You're right.
don't, then they
Oh,
should be
yeah.
pressured
I
to
can't
do
argue.
it.
Now,
with that.
okay, so what happens if they say
If the fans
this is
want
completely
that,
speculative.
then no, get out of here.
What
Only
about
way-
what if
only
they
way-
say they're paying for it all and they're gonna set up shop?
It would have to be paying for it all, and we're going to be here for 50 years. That's the only. I'm not even trying to be funny, but to Gardner's right. There
No.
should be no reason for you to have a conversation with the NFL unless it's to your point. You're going to pay
I don't
for
care
every
if you're an
single
NFL
penny.
fan. No, we're not doing this with the city right now, or the REIT. We're not doing this shit. If that's what your main concern is getting the NFL, then you have no concern for your actual region at all.
I agree.
You're a selfish bastard.
I can't disagree with that.
People are selfish.
Yeah, they
People are very selfish. You're right.
And then I can call them that.
But yeah, only way that works if you're like, we're guaranteed 50 years in St. Louis and we're paying for every penny.
There's no reason to even entertain it.
Right. That's the only way. That
And
you
if a
can't.
public official were to or would come out, then
I think
get the fuck out.
I agree. I cannot argue with that at all. I think that would just be
We're doing,
incredibly stupid.
yeah, we got other issues to deal with.
Major issues.
Plus, on the sports scene,
We're doing fine.
It'll be
You're
fine.
right. St. Louis is doing fine. Like I said, MLS worked out to the favor of the St. Louis city. The Blues, obviously. Now we got these beautiful renovations at Enterprise and a winning franchise there. The Cardinals are going to do what the Cardinals do best. And I think if you want to be that boutique sports city, I think St. Louis is in prime position to be there. We got 3 franchises. They're going to be strongly supported for years to come. And as far as what we know, MLS still sort of worries me about their structure. But those are 3 professional sports where you just feel more confident in its future than you probably would with the NFL. And to Randy's point again, he pointed out, the NFL in 10 years isn't going to look like the NFL now. When Tom Brady's gone, when the ratings begin to drop, when concussions completely cut off half the talent pool, this NFL is going to look different in a decade.
Black Sheep says Phillip Rivers not pulling his weight. He's buy season tickets for all of his kids, and that'll fix the problem.
I was waiting for how he's going to get to the kid.
That's
I
how it
was
works.
waiting for it.
Guys, big thanks to all of our wonderful sponsors here on the show. St. Louis Counseling Services works with us. They'll work with you. If you're in need of counseling services in the St. Louis area, drop them a line, stlouiscounseling.org online, and listen to Mental Health Matters, the podcast, where they discuss breaking down the barriers of mental health stigma with interesting guests each and every week. Big shout out to Tom and Debbie from Mental Health Matters. Trav, you need anything else, buddy?
No, shout out to Netflix for the trailer they dropped last night for the upcoming Breaking Bad movie El Camino. Looks very exciting. I was on the fence about them making a movie after the finale, but a brother is getting pretty excited. It's going to be
Yeah,
in
check
theaters
it
and on
out.
Netflix.
Are we doing shout-outs now?
Yeah, we're doing shout outs
in
now.
the show?
You got one?
I'm going to do a shout-out. I'm going to do a shout-out to Post-Dispatch writer Erin Heffernan for the piece she wrote about dominoes in the asphalt around St. Louis and how a cyclist had been trying to track down for years why he would find these dominoes in the asphalt. There's actually one in front of our building here at work,
Interesting.
and how that occurred. It was a fun story. Enjoyed it quite a bit. I even think we can incorporate it in National Treasure: Mound City.
And it all
Fun
comes
story.
back.
She does a good job because she's the one who did with the Uber driver and the cameras when you were yelling about Uber drivers, let them hug you and everything when you went on your rant.
Kind of how I
But
do my Uber rides.
she's tracked down some. She gets some of the weirder stories and the assignments at the Post Dispatch. But I thought the domino one I highly recommend it.
Okay, I'll
It's
check
fun to
that out.
follow along with.
Nice. Chris, who you got a shout out today?
My hometown, Farmington.
Nice.
Pulled
My
off a hell of a
free
weekend. Boy, everybody was so great.
I like shout outs. I like the shout outs.
That's like
Big
it.
shout outs.
This
Te-
is new. This is
send us your
creative.
shout
This
outs.
has
Yeah,
never been done.
never been
Never.
done.
Nobody's ever tried
Never
this.
been done.
You're welcome, my friend. Don't you dare sell this to Carricker.
We need to do have a phrase whenever. Is that what you do? When you
Keep rolling.
yeah, I like
Yeah.
that.
Our buddy Chris Manso from Snappy Bigman Coffee his coffee has been taking over the office. He's a very interesting guy. He's going to stop by tomorrow and chat. We may have another guest as well. So for Travis, Gardner, and the rest of you, we're back tomorrow live at 8 a.m. See you then.
Peace.